Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're looking at a surprisingly insightful source, the story, the Jellybean Jungle Rescue.
Right. Whimsical, definitely. Candy
Mhm.
trees, talking animals.
Exactly. It doesn't exactly scream, management strategy, does it? But honestly, trust us on this.
There's a lot here.
There really is. This little adventure, it gives some incredibly clear, actionable insights. Things about team response, creative problem solving, even conflict resolution.
Pretty practical stuff, actually.
Totally. Okay, let's unpack this. So our mission today, we're peeling back that candy coating. We want to pull out the core lessons, the generalized knowledge for you, our listener. Basically a shortcut to understanding leadership when things get, well, sticky.
Sticky is definitely the word for it.
Yeah. So the setting first, it matters. We're in the Jellybean Jungle. Think wild, wiggly sweet, trees with taffy trunks, vines made of licorice.
High-maintenance environment, you could say. Fragile, even.
Very. And the team in charge of keeping it all going, you've got Gummy Giraffe, she's the planner, wears gumdrop glasses.
The strategist.
Yep. Then Taffy Tiger, the muscle, Licorice Lemur, who's all about reach and flexibility, and Marshmallow Mouse, the specialist.
It's a really well-rounded crisis team when you look at it. Different skills.
Exactly. Differentiated roles.
And what's fascinating here, I think, is how the story immediately sets up these incredibly high stakes. It all hinges on one thing.
The Giggle Geyser.
The Giggle Geyser. It's the heart of the jungle, right?
Yeah.
Powers the color, the flavor. You could almost say it's their core IP, their morale engine.
It's not just a landmark, it's vital infrastructure, the lifeblood of the place.
And so when it stops giggling,
Yeah.
disaster.
Uh-huh.
System crash, everything just starts going dull, crumbly.
Instantly.
Yeah, it's immediate. A total failure of, well, everything that makes the jungle what it is. It's an existential crisis, really. Needs immediate action, triage.
And that's where Gummy Giraffe shines, right? The leader? No hesitation. We see structure like instantly imposed on the panic. Her reaction is just so decisive. We need a rescue plan, stat.
No messing around.
What really struck me about that moment wasn't just the plan, but the speed of that initial reaction. They didn't get bogged down asking, whose fault is this?
No committees formed?
No, they jumped straight to logistics, movement, getting things organized.
And that's lesson one in any crisis, isn't it? Triage first. Gummy Giraffe didn't prioritize finding the root cause right then.
Not yet.
No, she prioritized getting ready, moving resources, packing those jelly bean backpacks, starting the journey. It shows this fundamental understanding that you can figure out the why on the way, but you absolutely need your resources ready to go.
Yeah, readiness is key.
Yeah.
And the journey itself. Wow, talk about using what you've got.
Right. Candy cane slides, dodging fizz pop frogs.
And crossing that peppermint swirl river, how do they do it? With gummy worm raft?
A gummy worm raft. I mean, that's just a perfect example of quick, low-cost problem-solving under pressure. They couldn't stop, right? Couldn't build a proper bridge. So they used what was right there, something flexible, something plentiful to get across.
Resourcefulness.
Exactly. It teaches you that being resourceful often means just seeing the things you already have differently.
Yeah.
Using them in new ways instead of waiting for some perfect, expensive solution to appear.
Absolutely. So they're collaborating, they're moving, they're adapting before they even know what the real problem is. But then they get there, they reach the geyser, and they're probably expecting, I don't know, some big magical breakdown, a complex mechanical issue.
Something requiring engineers, maybe arcane candy knowledge.
Yeah. And what do they find?
It completely pulls the rug out. The geyser's plugged, not by a broken part or decay, but by this giant sticky wad of chewed bubblegum.
Bubblegum. It's almost mundane, isn't it?
It is. And Marshmallow Mouse, the smallest one, but you mentioned sort of the emotional center.
Yeah, the barometer.
Right. Captures that collective feeling perfectly with just EW.
So relatable, which brings us to the tricky part, the conflict. The source reveals the culprit. It's Burpee the bubblegum baboon.
Oh, Burpee.
And he's crying, explains he was just trying to blow the world's biggest bubble, but it backfired. So it was an accident, a mistake, not deliberate sabotage.
And this is the real pivot point, I think, where the story gets quite sophisticated, actually. It becomes this lesson in restorative justice.
No, so?
Well, think about it. They have a clear culprit. They have undeniable proof of negligence that almost destroyed their entire world.
Right. The stakes couldn't be higher.
Exactly. But what's their reaction? Do they haul Burpee off for punishment? Set up an inquiry?
No. The giggle. And forgive him instantly.
Instantly, the source frames it as choosing empathy before efficiency. 0 time spent on blame.
Which is interesting, but let's dig into that. Was it just empathy?
Well, that's where I might add a layer. Yes,
Oh.
empathy, clearly. But I'd argue Gummy Giraffe was also making a really smart tactical move there.
Tactical forgiveness.
Kind of. Think about the cost of blame. The arguments, the bad feeling, the time wasted pointing fingers, all of that would have been way higher than the cost of just getting on with fixing the problem.
Okay.
Forgiveness wasn't just like the nice thing to do. It was the fastest way to get everyone focused on the solution. They saw it was an accident, right? And they realized Burpee's energy, once he wasn't crushed by guilt, could actually help fix it.
Okay, I like that framing much better. Forgiveness as a performance accelerator. That elevates the lesson, doesn't it? I think so. And notice, they didn't just forgive him and send him away.
No, they put him to work. He becomes part of the cleanup crew, integrating the mistake maker into the solution.
Exactly. And now look at the tools they use. This is key. It's not brute force. They've got this mass of, sticky, gooey stuff to deal with.
Viscoelastic goo needs a specific approach.
Totally. So what do they use? Tools matched to the problem. A licorice lasso to get a hold of the blob.
Flexible grabs onto it.
Right. Then a taffy puller for careful calibrated leverage, not just ripping it out. Gentle force.
And finally, 300 marshmallow napkins. For the cleanup, the absorption.
Okay, the analogy there is just so clear. They didn't just blast it with a fire hose, which would have just spread the mess everywhere.
Right.
They used sticky things, the licorice, the taffy, to deal with the sticky problem. They matched the tool to the texture.
Yes. And think about that in an organizational context. You have a sticky problem, maybe ingrained conflict, maybe bureaucratic sludge. You don't just issue a harsh mandate. That's the fire hose. It makes things worse.
Spreads the goo?
Spreads the goo. You need your taffy puller.
Yeah.
Maybe that's mediation. Or a focused process review, something that applies leverage carefully without causing more damage. The tool has to fit the problem's nature.
That's such a powerful image. Okay, so this combination, the right tools, the teamwork, and that quick forgiveness, it works.
Instantly. The reward is immediate. The geyser lets out this huge giggle spritz. Color, flavor, it all floods back. They saved everything right then and there.
Organizational stability restored.
And that immediate feedback loop is so important. It shows the team that the speed of the solution, which was enabled by that kindness, by that tactical forgiveness, was the right call.
And then the celebration, the candy dance party.
Jellybean juggling, licorice limbo.
That's the cultural repair, right? You need that release, that coming together after the stress of the crisis.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. Let's pull this out of the jungle and make it concrete for you, the listener. Let's synthesize these lessons.
Let's do it.
First lesson, differentiated teamwork. It's not just, yay, team. It's about specific roles. Taffy tiger for strength, licorice lemur for reach.
Gummy giraffe for strategy.
Yes. And crucially, marshmallow mouse.
Don't forget the mouse.
Never.
Yeah.
That emotional validation role. A mouse's EW wasn't just disgust. It was like expressing the collective feeling. It acknowledged the messiness so they didn't have to waste time debating it.
It validated the situation, so everyone could just move on to fixing it. Every role mattered, even the emotional barometer. Absolutely. Okay, second big takeaway. Creative problem solving and resource alignment. Using the right tools for the job.
The licorice and taffy.
Right. They're like real-world examples of needing specialized interventions for specific kinds of organizational stickiness. You can't use a hammer on goo.
Precisely. But there's a nuance here, isn't there?
Oh.
Well, they fixed the immediate problem brilliantly. But the story doesn't really say they stopped Burpee from trying to blow another giant bubble later.
Huh. Good point. They didn't implement like a designated bubble zone.
Exactly. Is that a failure of systems thinking? They relied on forgiveness this time, but is the system still vulnerable? We have to ask, was the solution truly sustainable or just reactive?
That's a critical distinction. Recovery versus prevention. They nailed the recovery.
But maybe missed the prevention step. Something to consider.
Definitely. Which leads us to the third and maybe the most potent lesson, the marshmallow napkin approach. Leveraging goodwill.
Ah, yes, the 300 marshmallow napkins.
What do those represent, really?
I see them as a fantastic metaphor for cultural cleanup. They aren't a permanent asset. They're disposable. They represent the investment, maybe time, maybe a small budget, that you dedicate just to clearing the air after a mistake, especially an accidental public one.
So it's like the cost of smoothing things over.
Exactly. It's the effort focused purely on cleanup, on restoring morale. It accepts that sometimes the quickest way to move forward is just to throw a lot of easily available, low-cost resources at absorbing the immediate mess, both physical and emotional.
Okay, I get it. It's the mop-up costs.
The necessary mop-up costs.
So what does this all mean? Okay, you're facing an organizational clog, a sticky situation. First step, based on this, figure out what kind of clog it is.
Is it a deep systemic failure, or is it, an accidental Burpee the baboon moment?
Right. And if it is an accident, like Burpee's bubble, the story argues pretty strongly against weeks of blame games and formal procedure.
Which can often just make the stickiness worse.
Instead, you deploy the combo. The licorice lasso, your focus tool, the taffy puller, precise leverage, and a whole bunch of marshmallow napkins.
The goodwill, the cleanup budget, the focused effort to just clear the air.
Mop it up and move on.
At the end of the day, it's a cost-benefit thing, isn't it? The cost of quickly forgiving and using the right resources is often way lower than the long-term drag of assigning blame and letting resentment fester.
Focus on the fix, not the fault.
That's the core takeaway.
Okay, so here's our final thought for you to chew on. As you navigate your own professional jungle, if you're dealing with a problem right now, maybe a communication breakdown, a project that's stuck in the mud, what's your equivalent of 300 marshmallow napkins?
What's that low-cost, high-volume resource you could deploy today, right now, to help clean up an accidental mess? Something to absorb the friction and get things flowing again.
Worth thinking about. Keep exploring, keep learning. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.